Welcome back to ScaryClip. Have you ever wondered what dark secrets lie hidden within the quietest corners of small towns? Get ready, viewers, for a disturbing story. Just past midnight in Villisca, Iowa, on a tragic night in 1912, residents witnessed an unthinkable tragedy. This is the haunting tale of the Villisca Axe murders. On Sunday evening, June 9th, 1912, Josiah Moore and his wife Sarah took their 4 children, Herman, 11 years old, Catherine, 10, Boyd, 7, and Paul, 5, to the Children's Day service at the Presbyterian Church. Accompanying them were Lena, 12, and Ina Stillinger, 8. Neighbours who had asked their parents' permission to stay overnight with the Moore children. The service ended with some socialising that lasted until 9:30 p.m. at least. When parishioners left on that cloudy, damp and cool night, no one suspected that the Moores or their overnight guests would never be seen alive again. After a fun evening, the group called it a night and went off to bed after some milk and cookies. Later, a vile intruder fetched Joe's axe from the backyard. One by one, every soul in the house was bludgeoned, marking the start of a mystery that would baffle the nation. By 7:30 the following morning, a concerned neighbour, Mary Peckham, noticed the Moore residence's unsettling stillness. Alarmed, she called Ross, Josiah's brother. Ross stepped back and away from the crime scene and called Josiah's hardware store, telling employee Ed Selly to fetch Marshal Henry Hank Horton because something terrible had happened. Hank arrived at about 8:30 a.m, went through the house and found somebody was murdered in every bed. The partially cleaned murder weapon was left leaning against the south wall of the downstairs bedroom where the visiting Stillinger girls were found. The killer had added 2 bizarre touches to the murder scene. The first was a 4-pound piece of slab bacon leaning against the wall next to the axe. The murderer also had searched dresser drawers for pieces of clothing to cover the mirrors in the house and the glass in the entry doors. On the kitchen table was a plate of uneaten food and a bowl of bloody water. The crime scene painted a grim picture. Most haunting was the sight of all victims in their beds, heads concealed under bedclothes, skulls battered up to 30 times with the blunt end of an axe. The ceiling bore the marks of the axe's swings. Among the victims, Lena Stillinger showed signs of an altercation, a bloodstain on her knee and a possible defensive wound on her arm. Yet the coroner found no evidence of sexual assault. The Moore-Stillinger funeral was a profound affair, attended by thousands. The streets were blocked as a 50-carriage-long procession made its way to the Villisca Cemetery for burial. The day after the brutal Villisca murders, at 5:19 a.m, Reverend Lynn George Jacqueline Kelly boarded the westbound No. 5 train leaving the town. Startlingly, he declared to his co-passengers that 8 people had been ruthlessly killed in Villisca as they slept, even though the bodies had yet to be discovered. This wasn't Kelly's first time in Villisca. He had arrived the Sunday of the murders and even attended a Sunday school event where the Stillinger girls performed. Mysteriously, he returned 2 weeks later, masquerading as a detective, and even joined an investigative tour of the crime scene. Kelly's strange behaviour didn't go unnoticed. Within weeks, authorities started to investigate him, especially after receiving a series of unsettling letters he had written. Delving into his past revealed more oddities. Hailing from a lineage of English ministers, Kelly had faced mental health challenges since his youth. Having migrated to the US in 1904, he served in Methodist churches across multiple states, gaining a peculiar reputation, especially in regions north of Villisca. The grand jury charged Kelly with Lena Stillinger's murder in 1970. After confessing in August, he retracted during the trial. The jury, mostly favouring acquittal, couldn't decide. A later jury acquitted Kelly in November. The Villisca Axe murders remain unsolved and infamous in American history. Hoping the victims rest in peace, their tale is enough to give anyone goosebumps. Thanks for tuning into ScaryClip. Subscribe and hit the bell for more chilling tales. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.